52, blue 52, on one, hut. You know, understanding HPV and how this virus works in relation to cervical changes and cancer is a lot like going to the big game and not having a clue what may be going on out on the field. So what does an I formation mean? Why did he throw the yellow flag? Why do they keep just going up the middle of the field? Don't they know that those guys are just going to tackle him when they get there? And why, oh why, does he keep saying Omaha? Well, learning about HPV can be just as intimidating and confusing as trying to understand man-on-man versus zone coverage. So in celebration of the biggest football weekend of the year, we're actually going to take HPV and tackle it behind the line of scrimmage. So let's go back to the locker room for a minute and we're going to break this down, shall we? Huddle up, let's go. So HPV is a virus that affects over 80% of our population. It's transmitted by sexual contact. So basically 3 out of 4 people will get this virus over the course of their life when they become sexually active and they may not be using protection. So what does this actually have to do with football, Kelly? I'm so glad that you asked. When I am actually reviewing abnormal Pap results with my patients in our clinic, I love to use the analogy of football. It just works here. You see, if you look at HPV like a player in the game, the only time you will actually see them is when they're out on the field or in play. Well, in our case, the only time HPV is going to show up on a Pap smear is when it is actually in an active state. What this means is that you can actually have someone that has a normal Pap smear but has an HPV virus that's in a positive state or an active state on the cervix. Now, here's where it can get a little fuzzy around the edges, so stick with me here, okay? So when HPV is in an active state, it's like a player in the game. When the player comes out of the game or the HPV is forced into a dormant state, then they are no longer able to make any plays in the game. So when HPV is in a dormant or sleep state, it has no effect on the cervical tissue whatsoever. Now, here's the deal though. Let's say the player is a running back and they make a first down before coming out of the game. Well, do they take the play away from him? No, they don't. We would be really upset if they did. They don't. So when HPV is in an active state and then it goes into a dormant state, whatever changes occurred at the cervical tissue can continue to progress if your immune system is compromised. So how do I make sure to reduce the chance of having any cervical changes and maybe reducing the chance of preventing cervical cancer down the line? Well, the biggest way you can do this is having a great defense. That means that anything that you could do to boost your immune system is actually going to help you to make sure to keep the virus in the sleep or dormant state. And based on the type of HPV that you actually might have, you could shut it down altogether. So getting plenty of rest, reducing your stress, like that's going to happen, exercise, eating right, taking vitamins and supplements can help to ensure that the defense helps to keep the HPV scoreless. To learn more about HPV and cervical dysplasia, click the link below or visit us at healthcareinanutshell.com. Please make sure that you're following the nut, and everybody from Healthcare in a Nutshell would love to wish you a great Thanksgiving.